very good day to you, and welcome to the Game Changer program, where we bring you game changers that are making a difference in our communities, locally and globally. Today, I am with a phenomenon, and she is a phenomenal woman. Her name is Gabriela Mclain, and she's a fitness instructor. But get this, she's just not a fitness instructor, but she is and was the fitness instructor of the Woman King. Yes, I said the Woman King. And if you haven't watched the movie, I have no idea what you're doing with your life, but you definitely need to watch the Woman King. And she relentlessly trained the cast to become warriors. She was tasked to turn them into warriors inside and out. So this movie is based on actual events about the Agoji, an aggressive African all-female military regiment who defended the Dahomey Kingdom against European colonization in the 1800s. That's why I said you definitely need to watch this movie. Gabriela, welcome to the program. You are a game changer of the day. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me and thank you for speaking so kindly about me. I appreciate it. I'm really good. How are you, Unique?
I'm very well. I know that it's very early that side, and we don't take it for granted that you could take this time to have conversations with us about your journey. So tell me a little bit about your background, Gabriela.
hmm So I am from Czech Republic originally, from Europe, and I moved to United States when I was like 21 years old on my own, with literally one suitcase and barely any money. Um, and I was a dancer, pretty successful in my country in that time. And I moved because I was dancing actually with this singer at the time. But unfortunately, I hurt myself maybe 6 months later when I moved to States. And that's kind of changed my whole journey. And I was told to not dance anymore because it was putting too much pressure on my joints. And I started having just really weird issue with my body, but had no idea where it comes from. And so I became a fitness coach. I, did my license in still in Czech Republic. And I said, you know what? I love my body. I mean, I love body and I want to fix my body. So I just want to know more about how to put it back together, how to build the muscles. I dislocated my hip a little bit. So I became a fitness trainer and uh, came back because I have to go back to my country and came back to States and start training. I was fortunate to, right away get a private gym and work with great people. And, and just that's what we're talking about 25 years ago, or no, 2024. I'm not going to make myself older. And yeah, since then, that's what I do. And then I find out that the problem, what I had was I struggled with autoimmune, like disorder. It's kind of unspecific, but my body was kind of attacking my muscles and my joints, and especially during my second pregnancy, which I feel like it made me a better coach because it made me more connected to my body and understand the body and understand the pains and weaknesses. And, because if you're perfectly healthy and then somebody come and people have issues, a lot of people has problems, has knee problems, shoulder problem, a lot of autoimmune problems in this point in this world. And so it's just, I feel like it made me actually who I am right now and even better in what I do.
Amazing, Gabriela. And, I just want to go back to the fact that, as much as you had this condition that was actually attacking your muscles, you actually became a victor in all of this by studying your body more and getting into training and nutrition. Why do you think that, training and nutrition played such a key role to make you the person that you are today?
Well, it plays a major role. And that's what people don't realize, that especially, and again, I'm saying autoimmune diseases are so common in this point. And a lot of them, it's environment, it's the food we eat, the life we live, the chemicals we use on a daily basis. So, really focus on diet and eliminating all the stuff which actually causing inflammation in your body. It's a winning. And as you know, I don't know because you did your research. I did DNA testing for all my cast for Woman
Yes.
King,
Which is
and it was
something we're going
really,
to talk about.
yeah, and it's interesting, and that's what kind of, yeah, we can start digging deeper, but we all carrying certain genes, and what some of us are more prone to this, and so if you do naturally already are prone to inflammation, if you're going to eat food which is actually supports inflammation, like sugars and white flour, then you just literally setting yourself up for failure. So, food play major role, movement play major role to feeling better, especially when you're suffering with some kind of, autoimmune problem or any kind of, I feel like movement is healer for any kind of disease. And if you are
Yeah.
capable of moving, and I know some people are unfortunate and it's way too far that it's not possible. But if you are fortunate to move a little bit, and I'm not saying lifting 100 pounds, but just go for a walk. It's anything that's going to speed your blood circulation. It helps to heal the body.
You had already been training Viola Davis for the past 4 years, Gabriela, and
Correct.
Woman King finally came to life. What was your experience of training the actresses, especially to become fit for this role?
Oh, it was the best experience in my career. When I knew about the project because I know Viola well, and we were talking about the project. However, I had no idea I'm actually gonna go on the movie and be in such a big part of that project. I assume I'm gonna be training her in pre-production before she moved to Africa,
Yeah.
but I had no idea that I'm gonna end up training all the cast, be on the set every single day, literally, pumping them up before every scene. I had no idea what this project is gonna bring. So, it was just amazing, and I was extremely lucky with the cast. All the women were just amazing. They really truly were, and it's crazy. But the characters what they play in that movie, and again, for those who didn't see it, you better go see it because I think it's the best movie out there in these days, and especially if you're interested about this kind of movie and female power and empowerment, then go see it. Because these women, I feel like they truly become the characters. And there was something in actually their own personality, what I felt like it matched actually those characters, what they were
Yeah.
choosing for. So it was pleasure. It was everybody were working extremely hard. They literally poured their heart and soul into this. I did not have one any kind of, I don't want to do this or I don't want to train anymore. They were just, eager to do the best and juice it out the best out of them, whatever they could. So it was
Yeah.
pleasure. It was absolute pleasure.
That's amazing. Going back to what we were talking about, before training, you would
Mhm.
take a DNA test to determine how each person's body actually functions. Tell me more about this process and why was it so important, especially in training these women to become warriors inside and out?
Well, first of all, so I did sign up. I get signed up for this project with Viola, and very early after that, I got signed Tusa under me as well. And but the rest of the cast, it was kind of last minute. So the most of the training we actually did in Africa when we moved to Africa, which was 1 month prior before we start training, which we start filming, which is really short period of time to get people ready for such a major role. So, and the movie was extremely, I was just like saying bye to my kids, as you can see. But the movie was extremely physical, right?
Yeah.
Extremely physical. Now, why I did the DNA testing is because first, it was an amazing tool to help me to get them in a shape without getting hurt. And that's the major thing, right? Because that's what I want to say. Like, we were also working on this movie while still COVID was kind of active. We were limited with time. Nobody could get hurt. We did not want anything to slow us down. So when I actually got this chance to do this through a friend of mine, so this DNA testing, I'm like, this is what we need to do. I need to blueprint of each of their body so I can actually work with specific bodies on their optimum, right? So it really did play a major role because it helps me set it up their food plan perfectly because, you know, we all have a DNA and different DNA, and then we have different genes. So for example, let's say I find out that Viola cannot process fat as fast, which means it's going to be sitting in you, right? So there is a lot of keto diets now going around, and people, for example, if I would put Viola on a keto diet, she would be extremely slow, sluggish, and I would not get the best out of her. So that's why it was super important to know this information so I can actually her meals were low fat. You know, it was a little bit of carbs, protein, and fats, of course, because fats are energy, but not as high. So not a lot of avocado, not nuts at all. Okay, we cut out nuts, and especially in the days when she would have a shooting. So, and each girl has a different DNA, so different predisposition and different, you know, genes and metabolism works differently. So it was super helpful. So it helps me set up their meal plan. So when I did each of their nutrition, there was some kind of similar structure, but each of them have a different meal plan, different food that day. And I was lucky to actually find this amazing chef who worked with me in South Africa. And we worked every day. We would contact each other, and in Los Angeles as well. I was working with this nutrition, and they work with me really closely. And we went through every meal. So it's perfectly designed for the actress.
Oh, wow, that's really amazing. Definitely showing that, you know, you were paying particular attention to making sure that you got the best out of these amazing actresses. So let's talk about what it did to these actresses. What sort of difference did the training make in the actresses' lives? I mean, it's interesting. On one of the videos I was watching, Tusombetu says the training process was painfully amazing. On the second day of training, you, Gabriela, asked her to lift her chest and chin up, and she found herself actually getting emotional. So I'd like the audience right now to watch what Tuso said a little bit about this training. As difficult as it was, it really brought out the best in them. Listen to this.
I remember that day. It was hard, but like it says, amazingly hard, because I had to kind of face parts of me that, one, I wasn't aware were wounded, but it was hard to run away from during that training. And it's in the,
Okay, so I mean, obviously, you know, Tuso is talking about the process that you took her, especially when it came to training, and you played a key role in turning them into warriors inside out. Why were you specific about her raising her chin and chest up? I mean, what sort of significance did that make, or what did that symbolize, Gabriela?
Well, there's two reasons, right? One reason is when you close your chest, your lungs get compressed and then you struggling with breathing. That's one of the reasons. But also what I noticed when I started training Tuso came and Tuso never did too much fitness or training, or she wasn't the person who would go to gym and actually had a passion for working out. And I find like when And especially on that second day, she came, oh, hi, Gabby, nice to meet you. And I loved her in a moment I saw her. I could see it's like, we becoming very close, and I love her dearly. She's like my little sister now. But when I saw on that second day, I felt like she wasn't sure that if she can do it, this part. I know she's amazing actress, but I wasn't sure if she really believed in herself in this way. Can I really be strong? And I see the strong in people. I see it, but my job is to make you believe that you are capable of doing that, and that you have that strength, what I have, let's say, because she's looking at me that, oh, wow, you can lift it up. I don't think I can lift it up. My job is to believe you that, yes, you can. There's no difference between you and me. We just need to build that strength. And one of the part is like in life, we have a tendency to shut down and get into ourselves, and she gets quiet. But in a second, our moms do that, right? It's like lift your chin up and go. You need to be brave in this as well.
Yeah.
And I think I'm assuming that moment when I actually said it, she knew that I believe in her, and it just really touched her heart. And it's important, it's important to, and it's kind of like fake it till you make it a little bit. I don't like it in the life, this kind of phrase, but you need to believe in yourself. You need to tell yourself, I can do it. And even if you cannot lift those weights for first day, you go with that attitude that you will, and you will, so it's like you just need to keep that attitude. So I think lifting your chest, opening your chest, and just go like, yes, I can do it. I will lift these weights. Maybe right now I'm lifting 2 pounds, but fortunately in 2 weeks I will lift 10 pounds. And now it's like she's badass. She still trained with me. She really becoming, I think, addicted to that, the taking care of her body and getting that steam out through workout. So yeah.
Wow, that's really phenomenal. And I could really tell when she was having this round table with, all the actresses that played a key role in Woman King, that this training did make a difference in her life. So let's talk about, Women's Month. Okay. And, I was talking to a few friends of mine who have actually watched the Woman King movie, and, they were just saying that it has changed the way, women look at themselves. Women are more empowered through this movie, seeing the powerful Woman King, Viola Davis, take up that role and, become so brave in the process. Why does Woman King play such a critical role in women's journey to empowerment, Gabriela?
Well, first of all, and I think it's again like it's, of course, we never seen so many women of color in movie in such a powerful roles, and that's the number one, which it's amazing. My kids are mixed, and we always see all these blonde superheroes and girls, and and it's really nice to see actually dark-skinned woman in power, of course, right? But I think for any woman, actually, we always, first of all movies, we usually say, right? We could be, be warriors, but there's always Prince Charming come to save us.
Yeah.
Which not in this movie. There's no Prince Charming. It's us to save us. The sisterhood, the motherhood, and we all can relate to it. We all mothers, we all daughters, we all sisters. So we all find ourselves in it. And not to think it's, I think, I always been a little bit more on the muscular kind of physique girl. Even if I would not work out, I always have definition a little bit. I did sports all my life. And I would be shamed a little bit if my muscles grew when I was younger. My legs were thicker because they were muscular. I used to run, and I remember it was kind of like, we were designed to, oh no, don't look too muscular because then you look, like a male. and I have no boobs. So on the top of it, you know, you look like a little boy. And I got older and I realized that this is not right. Now I want to look muscular. If you feel intimidated, that is your problem. You know, I want to look strong because I like strong body. You know, to me, when you are in a good shape, that's, you know, that's mean you treasure this body, that you take care of this body. You want to take care of your body, you know, and I'm not talking about size 0, size 2, or size 4, no matter what size you are, because I have clients who are different sizes, different shapes, and they're in a great shape. So, you know, the size, the clothing size, not defining if you're in a good shape, but being in a good shape, being strong, even if you're in a size 8, if you are actually physically healthy, that's, you know, that's what I'm talking about. So I think actually seeing women who are physically strong and proud of it, it feels good, because there's a lot of us who loves and enjoying to feel strong and being muscular, you know, but somehow that, you know, stigma of you look like a man is just, you know, it's took over for so long. So, you know, I think seeing women in power, seeing the sisterhood, seeing the motherhood, seeing them holding together and, you know, lifting each other up, see the vulnerability. It's important, because we need to stay together as a woman, because, you know, I think it's this world needs us in this point.
Yeah, that's so true. So, I mean, take me through what the day looked like when it came to training and nutrition to make sure that they were always, you know, in shape and ready to go.
So pretty much we train almost every day. And if we did not train in a gym, it would be on a set with Viola. I train at her house. We stay together. So let's say, example, Viola's call would be 7 o'clock in the morning. There was a lot of night shoots, but I'm going to take example. Her call at 7 o'clock in the morning or 6 o'clock in the morning. 5 o'clock, we would meet in the gym. We would do session before any shoot, even though she had still 12-hour shooting of very physical scene. But, you know, Woman King was different because they were constantly bare arms, always oil. It was all about body. So that training was super important. So we would start with the training session in the morning. It would be very physical day, then we would be a little lighter, but just to pump those muscles a little bit, get them ready, because also for that purpose, there's something, we're not going to get any injury on the set, right? Because the body needs to be prepared. She would go to hair and makeup, get ready, and then I would be already waiting for her on a set with little weights. And she filmed scene, and before pretty much every scene, we would have little pump ups. So it would be literally hair, makeup, oil, put oil on, and there would be a Gabby, and I would come with the weights, and we would do a little pump up, like 5 minutes, just to get the blood in the body, or they were ready for battle scene. So we want that blood in those veins. So I would do a little pump up, and then would be, you know, rolling and, you know, ready to shoot. So that would be every day, and then sleep. Then we had also Heinrich, who was amazing. He did recovery and, you know, like rehabilitation with them. So if there would be any kind of pains, because, you know, we did not have, luckily, any injury, but that doesn't mean that there was no pains and swollen little bit ankles, and it was hot. So there was a little bit more water. Let's say sometimes they would be standing on their feet all day long. So, you know, there would be water in their feet. So he would have to a little bit drain it. And so it was nicely balanced. We had a great team, you know, between me and Heinrich, we would take care of them, you know.
Yeah.
And of course, Danny, who did all the stunts, who is Danny Hernandez, who is absolutely amazing. So again, we're talking about me preparing them, but it was me and Danny who really, the stunts, that was all Danny. And he is absolutely amazing. He's such a good, spirit, and always keep them hyped up and believe in themselves. So, it was just a great team of people.
That's fantastic, Gabriela. And, obviously, linking it with training and nutrition, and the day being very long, I want you guys to listen to what the actresses had to say about the training process.
My body went through hell.
Oh, the training.
It's been a lot.
I was like, I don't know if I'm going to survive this process. People think training's going to be you just getting a little bit strong to do a bit of stunts. But for this...
3 hours of martial arts a day.
We had weapons training.
Everything from sword play, spears, machetes. A lot of punching. An hour and a half of weights, sprinting.
Gina, the director, joined us, and that helped bond us.
She's transformed our bodies. She's transformed our minds as well.
Hey, Gabriela. So, we've talked about everyone else except what you learned during Woman King. So what were your biggest lessons from Woman King?
Wow, biggest lesson. Well, it was just such an amazing experience, but I learned so much from them because I actually really admire them. Sometimes I look and, I'm here to push them. And Lashana Lynch, that woman, it's like, I call her star student because she would always do exactly what I tell her to do and even more if she could. And, we spent so much time together. And many times I would be like, wow, that's a lot of training. And they didn't say one word and powered through it. And I just learned so much from them, their discipline, their dedication to it. I would say that's kind of, the biggest take what I took. It's just I learned from them just to get so focused with the food. They never cheat. They ate for 5 months. And, sometimes the food is boring because, it's you don't want to be bloated. So it's the same kind of meals. We try to keep it as much, fun as much it could be, but it's a fitness meal. So it's not like you eating some brownies and cakes and stuff like that. And they just powered through it. So their dedication and just the, commitment was just so powerful and so motivating for me, and working with Gina Prince Bytewood. That woman, it's powerhouse. I really enjoy it. I learned from every person, Polly Morgan, she's amazing as well. The cinematographer, everybody, just their discipline was incredible. I thought I'm a disciplined person, but when I saw them, they brought it on a whole nother level. So it really just keeps you humble and, it keeps you humble and you see like how much you actually can even grow more and do better, So Woman King was just the amazing experience. And I feel like it was kind of experience for lifetime. I don't think I ever going to do a movie like that. I know I'm going to do other movies, but Woman King was very close to my heart as a woman. I really loved Africa. I loved the spirit. The people were amazing. Wow. It's just, I felt home there. I felt very welcome. I felt amazing. And it's just, I don't think there's ever going to be experience. I think it was more, it was a movement more than even movie. This movie, it was something which, even though I feel like it didn't get the flowers as it's supposed to through, Academy and stuff, but I feel like it's always going to be in a library, in people's library. It's going to be one of them movie, like hopefully our kids going to talking about. And hopefully it's going to open the door for other movies to give more power to women, to lead, to be strong, to be the saviors on this, and not just hide behind men, So I really hope so.
Fantastic, Gabriela. I know that today you have a busy schedule, and I don't want to keep you from, training your clients and so much more. But lastly, let's talk about International Women's Day. Why do you think Women's Month and Women's Day matters to all women out there and to all men? I mean, obviously, we know that in the movie Woman King, it was a man that eventually recognized the power of this amazing woman, and instead of making one of his wives, to come up to such a role, he made, this soldier that had proved herself, time and time after again on the battlefield, to elevate her to become the Woman King. So why do you think International Women's Day plays such a key role in all our lives?
We are mothers, we are the one who bring the life. I have 2 kids, and I feel like we are not celebrated enough. So, and the work we do and the recognition, what we do.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think we should celebrate Women's Month, but I think we should celebrate women every day. I think more, and, with men, I think more we get as a one, all of us, then more power we will have, with, of course, with all subjects, we need to stop. Oh, she's a woman, she's a man. Oh, she's a woman. And all these stigmas, what we did, and all these stereotypes, what we did. If we let that go and we just take ourselves for who we are and we can bring to the table, I think we have a chance to fix this world. But, we're still dealing with that. We're still dealing with, I know as a woman in a fitness industry, oh, can she? I deal with that all the time. I come training big guys, and the first thing I can see, it's like, how do you gonna train me? I'm a big dude. How are you gonna train me? And then 5 seconds later, he's like, okay, never mind. But it's there. And I'm not saying I don't even get mad about it, because a lot of these, let's say, wonderful men, it's just in us, and we need to break that. You can be small, but you can be mighty. You can be female. You can be training big man. It's okay. We need to see ourselves equal, and so I think it's important to celebrate women. And again, we bring life, and I think we have a different, we just look at life differently than men. So I think it's important, the balance. So again, I feel like, and there's a lot of men who I think jump on this kind of train, and they try to support women, and we just need more, we just need more. And hopefully one day it's, just going to be one big happy family without, looking at skin color, looking at, sexual orientation, looking at if you're female, male, it's just what can you bring to the table? And that's the most important, so, but we are powerful. For all the women and men, of course, who actually wants to train like a Woman King, you can go to my website, and I have a full-on program with actually nutrition plan. And, regular people can as well train exactly the way how I train Viola, Tuso, Lashana, Sheila, and Adrian. So they can find it on my website, GabrielaMclain.com. There's a program called Train Like a Woman King, and there's also a nutrition plan, Eat Like a Woman King, and as you as well can become a warrior, same like the actresses.
You can become a warrior as through Gabriela's website. We'll definitely put her details on the screen as well. Thank you so much, Gabriela.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Unique. That was wonderful.
Thank you so much. At the end of the day, it's what you can bring to the table. And as Gabriela ends, she says that, she hopes one day we can come together as one big happy family because we all have a key role to play. Thank you so much to Gabriela Mclain, who is the fitness instructor of the Woman King, and she trained the cast to become warriors. She was tasked to turn them into warriors inside and out, and she did just that. I recommend that all the ladies out there should definitely go and watch Women King as well as the guys, just to appreciate, the power of a woman. Thank you so much, Gabriela. We do not take this for granted, and I do hope that you have a fantastic day. And of course, to all our viewers, thank you for joining us on the Game Changer program, and we'll see you next time.